Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Wednesday. It's a hump day edition of the JP Peterson Show. Man, we got another good one for you. I'm jacked up this morning. I got a lot of good feeling. I got a lot of good vibes this morning. Yeah, we even had some coffee. I got a good night's sleep, for God's sakes.
Man, I didn't.
That's weird. Yeah, you're all grumpy.
I met a girl last night, JP.
Oh, God. Okay, see, this is going to be a great show. It's going to be a great show.
She's even Asian. I don't do Asian girls, and this was different, man.
Wow, we're breaking all kinds of ground here.
Johnny would be proud.
Yeah. So welcome in. Really happy that David Samson is going to join us, former Marlins president, super plugged in guy in terms of Major League Baseball. Did a great video the other day on the Rays situation. We've had him on before. Very entertaining guy. Has a great podcast, Nothing Personal with David Samson. You must listen to it. It is fantastic. So we'll have him on at 11 o'clock at his perspective. We got some more news, breaking news on the Rays stadium deal. So we'll get to that. Other breaking news. This is shocking development, Tim Ham.
Oh, no.
The Tampa Bay Times, formerly known as the St. Pete Times, the St. Pete Times has finally reached the point where they are calling for the sale of the Rays.
Wow.
I knew you guys would get here. A little late, but we knew you'd get here. Thanks for jumping aboard.
Wow.
And by the way, we've always had some issues with the way they've done things, all this, not anything personal to John or Mark or Rick. I just love those guys. They're all great. They're great at what they do, and they have their opinions. We have other opinions. It's all good. Sports talk, no big deal. But yeah, we're glad that they're on board, and Major League Baseball is on board. So it's all good for Tampa Bay. Doesn't matter who's first, who's right. Doesn't matter. As long as we get local ownership and build a stadium where it should be built, that's all we care about. It's all we've ever cared about. Not about us. It's about what's best for the Rays. It's about what's best for the fan base. What's best for Tampa Bay, and we're getting there. I really, really believe we're getting there. So, and I think it's getting closer. So, hold on just a little bit more.
Hold on to your butts.
Hold on to you. Good morning to you, Tim Ham. I know we've already talked, but in our Dallas affiliate there, in your beautiful studio that you have behind you, love that. FanStream Sports Dallas, FanStream Sports Tampa Bay,
all of it.
Yeah, we're here, and yes, B, it's like a real show today. David Samson is coming on the show. B's already in. He's like, wow, David Samson. It's almost like this is a real show, right? Yeah,
you would think, right?
We break news. We have big guests. We've been doing this a while. For those of you who don't know, I've been covering local sports for almost 30 years. Was at Channel 8, the #1 news station for 10 years. We've won a lot of Edward R. Murrows, APs, all this other crap that they give you. Just to say that we've been doing this a while. We're not some fly-by-night organization. We're very, very well connected in the local communities. We have a lot of friends and a lot of great sponsors that support our show. Like you see them all over the screen, and we're just lucky to be able to do what we do. And we thank the sponsors. But more than that, and I just got something on Twitter that I want to read. Just read real quick, okay? If you don't mind.
Yes, please.
Because when these things come in, they mean a lot to me. They really do. And this is Jerry, who said, JP is a longtime viewer on TV and follower on Twitter. I have to say you have been an advocate for Tampa Bay from day one. Thanks for all you do, and especially this Rays ownership issue. I get a little verklempt. I'm a little verklempt.
You're a little verklempt?
I am a little verklempt when I get stuff like this. I really am, because we don't, trust me, folks, we don't do it for the money. Yeah. We do not do it for the money. Just like Chris Godwin, we take less money to do what we do.
But did you take $20 million less?
No. And
neither did he.
We're going to get into that. Because this is like become the issue of all of it. We're missing we're missing the lead
Chris
part
is
of the
calling me
story
right now. He's like, "You're right. I didn't take 20 million less."
Oh, he's like, shut the hell up. I did too. So yeah, but those when we get those, I mean, it really does warm my heart. It really does warm my heart. And we've gotten a lot of that lately, because I think a lot of people have kind of come around that maybe didn't believe us or, didn't, have we been right on everything? No. And it's not that we go out and report things as fact and say this is what is exactly going to happen. No, we talk about what we've heard, what we think is going to happen. Sometimes we'll report things as fact, and we've been pretty good on those track records. Tom Brady, Gronk. I mean, we've been pretty good on those. The Deion thing was 90%. I'm sticking to my guns.
Cohen ain't effing leaving.
Yeah, that one kind of too. But most time.
And you even went on national TV and said that, JV.
I did.
Jinxed the whole damn thing.
I said he wasn't going to the Jets.
Oh, yeah.
I did say
happen.
It wasn't effing leaving. And he wasn't until he was.
Schrager. Yeah.
Until he was.
By the way, I have reached out to one Dan Orlovsky. Waiting to have him on the show because he was on social media yesterday just praising Jason Light and all of the moves that
as he should.
So I said, Dan, we would love to have you on the show to come on and praise Jason Light on our show. We would love to have you. So we're waiting on the appearance of one Dan Orlovsky, who I love. I adore him.
I love him
he's
too.
A great dude.
I don't always agree with him, but I love him. I think he does a great job.
He doesn't know where the back of the end zone is, but I love Dan Orlovsky.
That's it's funny that incident probably propelled him to great heights. I mean, it put him on the map.
Yeah.
And what may have been the most embarrassing moment of his life, has turned out to be a complete godsend, which is a very important lesson for all you kids out there. You never know. You never know.
Positive.
Exactly. You can take the worst moment of your life and turn it into a positive. So stay strong.
It did. It made him who he is. He's got 4 beautiful children now, a lovely wife, and his life is great.
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. So let's get into it here. In terms of breaking news, now the Spectrum Bay News 9 put out last night that the third group that I've been speaking about has emerged, and it's led by Dan Doyle. And that was, I didn't, when I first read the Athletic piece, I don't know if they changed the wording on that, but it did kind of even slip by me. I know they mentioned Dan Doyle, but they didn't necessarily say that he was leading the third group.
Right.
But, and this is the group that I have some other names that I'm not at liberty to talk about right now. But I will give you a little bit more information on that. So is Dan Doyle part of this group? I believe he is. I don't want to report that as fact, but I believe that he is. And that reporting coming from the Athletic, I would say I believe he's part of this group. And also, and I have to be careful what I say here, I'm also going to tell you that, and I don't think his name has been mentioned, a guy by the name of Ron DeSantis. You may have heard him. Now, I'm not saying he's part of the ownership group, but I am telling you he's very much aware of this group and what they are doing and supports it, which is important because when you think about where the state has been in terms of money for sports teams, especially the Rays, DeSantis has not been in favor of that. And you can connect the political dots if you like, because that's how it works. Yeah. And why would he be? The Rays certainly have not been DeSantis favorites or on that side of the aisle at all. And that's fine. That's fine. That's their right, obviously. But it comes with consequences. So what does that mean? Well, it just means that, this is what's great about this particular group is they are so beloved and so well respected that they are going to get a lot of public support. And that means not only from the people who are going to be excited about it, but when they do come for public money, it's not going to be like Stu did. It's not going to be like that.
Right.
So, by the way, I'm not sure that could you double check and see if we're sending the show to my Facebook, because I don't see it for some reason. It may be something off, but anyway,
it is there.
Is there? Maybe I'll have to I'm trying to get it to public. Anyway, so I do believe Ron DeSantis is aware of this group, and I think that the state will definitely play a positive role in getting this done in Tampa, and also suggest that this is going to be much more than just a baseball stadium. It's going to be an entertainment district. It's going to be something that the state will derive revenue from and partner with. And again, as Ken Hagan has said many times, this is going to be a very responsible deal for the taxpayers. I know we're used to the owner of the Rays trying to bilk every penny out of the city, the county, and all that, and still not enough, right? That's not what this group is about. It's not what this group is about. Think Jeffrey Vinnick, think Glazers. They are going to partner with the community to make something great and beautiful and wonderful that can be used not just for baseball, but for a lot of other things. So, and I know, in general, the feeling for publicly funded stadiums is definitely waning. No question about that. I get that. But I think when you do it in a responsible manner and you have people that are leading the group that are Tampa Bay icons, then things, roads get a lot easier to pass. Money gets a lot easier to pass. And when you trust your partners that they have Tampa Bay's best interest in mind, it's an easier political sell. It's a much easier political sell. So, that's why I'm so excited about this particular group. I'm excited about what they can bring to the table. And we mentioned this yesterday, and I think it's for those of you who are just care about baseball, and of course we do. I mean, we want to win a World Series. Jason Romano, friend of the program, Kyle Tucker's agent, Plant High School, gone to the Cubs this year. We've had him on the show, friend of the show, top 5 player in baseball, in my opinion, is going to be a free agent next year. And he wants to play in Tampa Bay. He would love to come home and play in Tampa Bay. He just bought a house on the third fairway, Palmacia. And so he would love to come here, but he told us on this show he would never play in Tropicana Field because he has to ice his knees down for an hour after the game when he plays there. That's how bad it was.
Are you aiming for his windows on his new house off the third tee?
Well, if I was aiming for him, I would never hit him. But
Lord.
I've had plenty of golf ball find its way into that yard. The house is nicely set back, so it's not too much in danger.
Okay.
But,
all right, good.
Yes, it's Mr. Murray's old house.
Just hit him into his pool.
He's collected a lot of our golf balls over the years. But the point is, can you imagine this group actually bidding for a top 5 player, a free agent? Oh my God. In the Rays?
What a concept.
What a concept. Bidding, having a player in the middle of your order that's a bona fide slugger, top 5, top 10 player in the league, and actually paying him. Yeah, that's what this group would do. Build a new stadium, have it anchored by a local guy that is, beloved and is one hell of a freaking player. One hell of a freaking player. That's the possibilities we're talking about. I mean, we've become so used to this, scraping by on a crappy payroll and, we got one. Let's hang a wild card banner. That's great. We make it to the playoffs. A lot of teams make it to the playoffs. Not many teams win World Series. It's a totally different level, as John Smoltz has pointed out many times on this show. And the Rays will always, with this ownership group, struggle mightily to get over the hump in that way. Yes, they've made it to 2 World Series. Yes, they've done that, and under certain circumstances, but never going to be a consistently a perennial World Series contender. Playoffs, yes. World Series, don't see it. But now with this group, you would. So I want to get to also some of the things that John Romano wrote in the Times today, and it's the headline is, if stadium deal is dead, and it is, it's time for Stuart Sternberg to sell the Rays. I mean, when I saw that headline, I was like, what? Did he really write that? Subheadline, it does no one any good for the team to remain in baseball purgatory while the owner and politicians snipe at each other. Now, I'm not going to say this whole article is about, pointing the finger at Stu, but it finally kind of does a little bit. And yes, there's the, and you guys can go read it for yourself. There's the usual, we didn't support it in terms of attendance, and and he put a winner on the field, and that's the fact that the fans didn't support it is criminal, blah 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 blah. And I always bristle at this because, and in the national perspective is very much the same way. But when you live here and you know what's going on, it's not hard to figure out. It's not hard to figure out when you don't connect with the community. Well, let me read this. I wrote this, and I'll just go through some of this. I said to the Times, welcome to the party. We've been calling for him to sell for quite some time. He's always been the issue when it comes to the stadium and payroll. He's always treated this team and Tampa Bay like an ATM to extract as much cash as possible. No true connection to the community. Many of us figured this out a long time ago, but many in the media continue to prop him up like some victim, like it's some unexplainable mystery why fans don't show up. It's an uninspiring, obsolete stadium with a Walmart vibe in a horrible location on the edge of the market, surrounded by water, and the demographic of fans in Pinellas that don't go to baseball games. Plus, many fans refuse to support an owner who is all about making money and refuses to pay and keep his great players. While many peddled false narratives of payroll constraints due to lack of attendance, they ignored the $60 million in annual revenue sharing and at least that much in central fund revenue he is gifted by other owners every year. I mean, think about that. Think about that. That's over $100 million every year gifted to the team, gifted by the other owners. And you've never had a payroll equaling $100 million. Think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that. How much money has been stuffed in the pockets along the way? All the while promising to all of you, looking in the camera, say, whatever dollar we make, we're going to put right back into the team. It's just not true.
In salary, not just back into the team, but into the players.
Yeah, back to the team,
yeah.
And then you take your management fee out of it. Yeah. Your huge management fee. I guess that's back into the team. I continue here. The lawsuit filed by his partners details hundreds of millions he moved into another company, allegedly. Now MLB has finally figured out that he's the problem and is forcing him to sell, threatening unprecedented measures of withholding revenue streams from MLB. Imagine that. I mean, this has never been done before. And we'll talk about this with David Samson. To publicly come out and say, yeah, we're going to take away your revenue sharing. We're going to take away some general fund revenue if you don't sell the team. I mean, if that's public, imagine what the conversations privately have been like with Stu.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Can you even imagine? Like that owners meeting in West Palm was a throwdown. It was a throwdown. Interesting stuff. And I admit this, while Stu has done a great job producing winning teams on a self-imposed shoestring payroll, there's more to being a good owner. See Jeff Vinnick. Stu has burned every bridge in Tampa Bay in business, politically, and with most fans. He's held up huge developments on both sides of the bay that could have produced huge economic benefits for millions of Tampa Bay residents. It's time for true local ownership with deep pockets, and as we have reported on our show for months and has now been reported on The Athletic and ESPN, a group of elite Tampa Bay businessmen are prepared to pay a fair price for the Tampa Bay Rays and build a state-of-the-art stadium in Tampa where it best suits the entire region. It's likely Stu is holding out for way more than the $1.25 billion value, so it could take some time. Shocking development. Let's just hope it happens soon. And again, welcome to the party.
Yeah, it's finally.
Yeah, and so I think I think we're getting close. I think we're getting really close, and I'm excited for what this could bring to Tampa Bay. And as we talk to so many, local baseball icons here, from Fred McGriff to Wade Boggs to
Matt Laporta,
so many guys that have grown up in this area, live in this area, that love baseball, played Major League Baseball, are in the Hall of Fame. And it's time to bring this home. It's time to, and this is nothing. And by the way, St. Pete is part of our home. St. Pete is part of our home. It's Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And St. Pete has played a wonderful role in getting the Rays to Tampa Bay, building that stadium, getting them here. That doesn't go unnoticed. And this is not about Tampa versus St. Pete. It has never been that way. I've said this forever. I want St. Pete to fully reach its potential. And having a baseball stadium in the middle of downtown does not do that. Yeah. It does not. The residents don't want it. Overwhelmingly, they don't want it, and they don't need it. If they want to go to a baseball game, they can cross the bridge and go to a baseball game. It's not like the Rays are leaving the market. You know what they are leaving? A couple $2 billion in downtown St. Pete that the residents can now benefit from. That's what they're leaving. Instead of spending $2.5 billion and giving that to an owner, you're now going to receive that money from developers and get development, affordable housing, museums, whatever you want to do, a lot more of it, by the way, much more easily accessible to the local residents, because there's not going to be a baseball stadium with parking garages there, clogging things up, 81 games a year, which the local people point out. It's going to be a boon instead of a boondoggle for the city of St. Pete.
Chris Godwin talked about that on the show. Yeah,
exactly.
About how great it's going to be when they can redevelop that property.
Right.
Make it mean something.
And I love his idea. You know what else? We bring spring training back to St. Pete. That we turn Al Lang into, how awesome would that be? Yeah. And he's right. Teams will line up for that stadium. You do a nice development deal there around that spring training site. Teams will line up. So, and that would lead up into the Grand Prix, or actually, I think it would probably be just before spring. In the middle of spring training. That might be a little weird, but they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out.
It'll be great.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what St. Pete would love. They don't need a full-time baseball stadium that's going to cost the taxpayers $2.5 billion in total cost, with interest and loss of revenue from real estate and everything out. That's the real cost. So this is good for everyone. And I'm glad that the Times is finally on board with this and understand that Stu's always been the problem. Now, in my mind, they've been part of the problem because they propped him up, and other media outlets have propped him up like some victim, and that he's that everybody else is to blame because that's what he said. And I've always pushed back on that. So I'm glad that we're all getting to a point where we can all agree on this and what's best for Tampa Bay. And everybody is now kind of seen the light. And again, I have nothing personal against Stu Sternberg whatsoever. It's just about the way he's run the team. That's it. I wish him the best. He's made a lot of money here. He has a great life and great family, and can go back to New York and count all the money, and great. It's fantastic.
So let me ask you this.
And I appreciate what he has done in terms of bringing winning baseball to Tampa Bay. He has done a great job of bringing winning baseball to Tampa Bay. His formula of that Wall Street approach, it certainly has won us regular season games and gotten us to the playoffs, and that's great. But now the next step needs to be taken. And he's not either willing or able to do it. So now hand it off to some guys that can. And ladies, whoever's involved, right?
They know what they're doing.
Yeah. Now, as I mentioned, Dan Doyle of Dex Imaging was mentioned as one of the partners in the third group. And again, I can't confirm that name. The Athletic has that out there. So I believe he is part of it. I would suggest, I believe that he is. So I'm if it's confirming what the Athletic is reporting. Yes, I believe he is part of that group. It is, not, you say Tampa Bay businessman. Obviously, Dan lives in Pinellas County. He developed the Pelican, Dex Imaging, the Pelican Golf Course, Dex Imaging. There's a lot of power players in his circle, a ton. And that's what's making up this third group. So when we're able to share some more of the names, which evidently is going to be coming out soon, then we'll all know. But as David Samson wrote, and we'll ask him about this, the more public you go as you're trying to buy a team, the less chance you have of getting said team. So that's why, we don't feel like it's even necessary. I can tell you the background. This is a group. They are favored by Major League Baseball. They have money. They have the deep pockets. They have the local connections. Everything is in place. They have, they're politically connected. It's all great. And so I can't wait to see it come to fruition. And the Major League Baseball and everybody, the other owners, will benefit greatly.
Let me ask you this, JP. Now, wasn't Stu the impetus of the name change from Devil Rays to Rays?
Yes.
Now, I have a two-part question, Mr. Peterson, on that note.
Man in the back there with the scraggly beard. Yes. In that beautiful studio.
Yes, this beautiful studio here.
Yeah.
Do you think it would, first of all, where did the fan base stand on that? Did the fan base embrace that? Were they confused? Did they care? And number two, I've heard, maybe going back to that name, maybe the Devil Rays, reestablishing the Devil Rays, may be a situation that happens under new ownership. Where does the fan base stand on that? And does it matter?
Great question. By the way, Ashley says it's not showing on my Facebook, and it's not. So see if we can correct that.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm looking at you are live on JP Peterson.
Really? I don't know why it's not.
And then when I click view on Facebook, it just goes not available right now. So
all right, screw you, Facebook. Stu back at work.
Stu did it again.
Took away my old Twitter, took away my job.
It's on my Facebook. I mean, it's showing up there.
All right, everybody go to Tim's Facebook. You can watch it there.
Just go to YouTube.
Or YouTube. Yes, you can watch it there as well.
Yes.
Fanstreetsports.com. So the answer to that question is yes. I think the fan base was a little confused. I don't like the starburst. Heck, even Nick doesn't like the starburst. But it did, taking away the devil did get us the win. Yeah. So I don't know if we want to go back to the devil, but I kind of do. It's funny because people love the retro stuff way more than they love the new starburst stuff. They buy the hell out of the Devil Rays logo, and the new the new stadium in Ybor City. I said the old design, which might be the new design of the stadium in Ybor City, has that big Devil Ray part of the roof. So yeah, I would love that to be the case. So yeah,
just a bit of nostalgia for for Rays fans that are our age.
I think that would be wildly popular to bring it back. You know what I want to see? The cityscape skater stuff. Yeah. I know I'm in the minority, but it wasn't classy. It's just like here's a dirty uniform. It looked dirty.
Dirty, yeah.
It just, I
don't know. Dirty uniforms look cool when they're actually dirty. Like I'd love, guys who
with the grass stains from the outfield.
Yeah, the turf stains.
Yeah, I want to figure out a way for us to have real grass in the new field. If it's enclosed, we can grow grass inside for God's sakes.
They do it in Las Vegas.
Come on, let's do it.
And in Phoenix,
yeah,
they've got freaking the Las Vegas Stadium, Allegiant Stadium. Has like 4 different fields they can roll in. There's natural grass.
Is it really?
Turf. Oh, yeah. They've got like 4 different fields based on what's happening because, soccer, World Cup won't play on artificial turf. So they have to have grass. So they had to grow a grass field. And whatever it is outside. And they just roll all 4 at whatever. And they're different levels. So, like, if you're watching a football game, a Raiders game at Allegiant, the field is, 10 feet below the line of where the top of the wall is that goes around the stadium. If they're on artificial turf, it's only like 6 feet because they're at different levels. And that's the way they engineered it. So, doesn't State Farm Stadium have the same thing? I mean, they grow their grass out at their field outside and they roll it in when they want to play.
In Arizona?
Yeah.
They used to. I don't know if they still do that.
No, they still do on that horrendous looking stadium. It's so gross looking.
All right, we're going to get to the Rays. I'm sorry, the Bucs and Chris Godwin here in just a second. But since so many of the comments are about the Rays, I think we should get to them now in a timely fashion. Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
James says, heck, maybe the Doyle Group, the only group smart enough to do a public-private deal in Tampa. Yeah, that's where they're focused. I can tell you that. They're not looking to do the deal in St. Pete because they know the long term. Again, if you're building an entertainment complex to go along with it, why would you not put it in Tampa then where it's more accessible to the huge Orlando market and points east that are growing of Florida? I mean, it makes no sense to limit yourself. If you're going to spend billions of dollars on an entertainment district, don't you want it as accessible to as many people as possible? And for a Brightline train that's coming in from Orlando,
And look, that
where
makes
there's
sense.
70 million visitors a year coming. Would you not want to connect it to the theme park capital of the world where 70 million people are coming in? And if you have building an entertainment complex, I don't know. I'm no economic genius, but I'm thinking, I think that might be a good idea.
And look, if you build this thing wherever the population base is, number one, your attendance goes up, right? So because you're actually where the fans are, so they will come to the games more than they did if they had to cross the bridge to go to St. Pete, right? But it also means something for advertising, for marketing revenue, because if you have more fans in the stadium, you can sell more advising in the stadium and you can charge more for it.
Absolutely.
It just makes more sense.
It makes a lot more sense. In Bucs basement, we'll get to the Bucs here in just a second. All right,
Ray's
what else?
basement.
Yeah, Ray's basement. What else we got here? We'll get to Bosa and all that stuff as well.
And Godwin leaving $20 million on the table.
Yes, allegedly. Of course, absolutely.
Hey, real quick though, while we're looking over things, I have to play this because we talked about Dan Orlovsky off the top of the show.
Yes.
And for those of you that don't know why Dan Orlovsky is Dan Orlovsky or why people make fun of him for his NFL days, and yes, he did play in the NFL. This is why right here.
Big-time players need to help this guy out. Roy Williams, Calvin Johnson.
I think I watched this live.
Yep.
3rd and 10.
He plays quarterback, by the way, you guys.
Here comes Jared Allen, and he's
What's
out
he
of
doing?
bounds.
What's he doing? What's he doing?
I don't even know if he realized it. And that's a safety.
Well, so much for me calling him savvy because he had no idea where he's on the field. Tough situation, but you just can't do that. You have to realize.
Come on,
you
Dan.
can see him. He didn't even know he was out of bounds. Tough situation.
Look at Jared Allen's like, yo, dude, you're out of bounds. Yo,
you
dude.
got to be aware, Ron, of the situation where you are.
I mean, look, if Jared Allen's chasing me, I'm probably running out of bounds too. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, it is what it is. But
oh, poor guy.
And Dan, and you know what? It's so funny because whatever show he is on, at any given moment, they will remind him of that and they will play that. It is so funny. And
we're not doing that to him. We're not doing that to him.
No. I'm not doing it. I love Dan. But what's funny is someone did that last year. I forgot who it was. Maybe it was in the preseason, some spare quarterback who probably didn't make the roster on whatever team. But another quarterback did that I want to say it was in the preseason.
Yeah.
And everybody just called it, oh, he pulled a Dan Orlovsky.
He pulled an Orlovsky.
Yeah. So now he's famous for that.
All right, to the comments. Michael LaRue, good morning to you. Stu must have stopped paying the Times. I think it's interesting. Since he kind of stopped talking to the Times, they've taken a different track.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Interesting. William Madden says, JP, I've been down here for 40 years from Philly. You, TJ Reeves, the late Chris Thomas, big dog, best in the business. Wow, we're getting a lot of love this morning. JP is the GOAT of Tampa Bay sports. Wow, thanks, Mom.
True story. Thanks, Mom.
Now we know why Myles Garrett stayed with the Browns. They got JTS. Getting JTS.
They did.
You're funny. James says, heck, maybe the dog group, the only group smart enough. Yeah, that's right. Where did that one? You mean Meatball Ron? What? Meatball Ron?
Who's Meatball Ron?
Shut up, B.
Sorry, Dave.
You meant to say Big Dog. I know what you're talking about. Daniel Rivera says, and if it's the fairgrounds that ends up being site of the new Ray Stadium, that's huge also because you bring in state money as well. I still believe it'll be Ybor in the end. No, I think now that, DeSantis is aware of this group. That's state land. And then you get the Hard Rock involved. I think that all of that is good stuff. All of that is good stuff. And it's a possibility. No question about it.
And we can get the FanStream Sports urinal mitts involved in the stadium.
Yes.
For advertising. Yeah.
B says, doesn't Tampa have several so-called entertainment districts already? Yes, they do. There's Channel Side, there's Midtown, but those are very small compared to what this is going to be. Very small. So, yeah, I think there's definitely room for growth. There's no question about it. What else we got in here? There's a lot of football talk, which we're going to get to. Yep. Thomas Casper says, and the entire time Stu was saying it's a small market and he is uncomfortable with the low ball payroll. I mean, was that just one of the worst comments? Yes. And just going to us, we're very uncomfortable trying to play the victim card all the time. It's just, meanwhile, getting, hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue sharing over the years. RJ Martin says, let's not forget about shoving Montreal in the face of fans and wanting to hang a banner promoting it during the playoffs. I don't forget any of it, RJ, and neither do the fans. That's why he's completely out of allies. And also, and I think it's maybe while the Times has finally come to the table, they realize he's completely out of allies. The St. Pete Council, the Pinellas Council, the local businesses, they realize that the Times was the only people left supporting Stu Sternberg. So
Montreal needs a baseball team, but they doesn't need to be the Rays.
No, the expansion. If they want expansion, fine. Yes. James said you would think Romano would respond to what I said if he has the stones to debate you, JP. Listen, I don't want to get into it. I'm nothing personal against John Romano. He's a fine man. They're all great. They're doing a great. They do their job over there, and now I don't pretend to know what the pressures are from their bosses or whatever. I have no idea. I just I look at what they write. I say I disagree with it or agree with it. There's a lot of stuff that he writes I agree with, but I don't. I don't have to agree with all of it. And people don't like me because I don't agree with something that you write. Well, then that's on you.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't dislike you. I think you're doing your job, and it's your opinion to have it. I mean, it's your job to have an opinions, and so people can agree or disagree. If you can't take people disagreeing, you need to get out of the business. Michael LaRue says, are you a little surprised the Bucs passed on Joey Bosa? Yes, I am. I would
for that price. Yeah.
Yeah. JP, I can only assume if you're going hard against St. Pete Stadium, must actually leaning that way behind the scenes. Leaning towards St. Pete? No. I don't think it's leaning towards St. Pete at all. Major League Baseball does not want the stadium there. They've never wanted the stadium there. I think they were okay with it if to finally get a deal done. But when they realized it wasn't going to get done, they said, you know what, this is stupid. Let's just pivot back to where it should be. So James says the only issue with Doyle Group is where is the billionaire? He's a billionaire. Dan Doyle's a billionaire.
Yeah.
I hope they have one. Not that it's a prerequisite, but to be uber rich, but you need a front man to have the money so the team runs better. I know for a fact there's another billionaire involved. Yes, I know there's billionaires involved in this. There's multiple billionaires involved in this. So I think that's a good thing.
Mo billionaires equals mo money.
Stu dropped Devil because he tried to move to Las Vegas. Is that true? Las Vegas Sun Rays. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe. Richie P says, I've been saying this from day one. St. Pete should connect a DTSP gas plant district to the beaches with light rail using the Sunrunner route. Stop pouring money into the baseball stadium and invest. Brilliant idea. Yes, absolutely. Connect the downtown with light rail to the beaches so that people don't have to park at the beach, number one, where there's no parking. I've seen that the renderings for a sky ride going over the intercoastal waterway. That would be an awesome tourist thing that you could put money into. How about a cruise port that can get the big ships in that can't get under the skyway? That would be huge. And probably cost you less money than $2.4 billion.
Yeah, for sure.
Jeff Stutler says Chase Field is turf now, like the Trop. Why did they change from Grat? I don't know. It's a bad idea.
They can't grow it. It's an indoor I know they have the retractable roof, but you can't grow grass unless you grow it outside and then roll it in. And that's unless the stadium was engineered to do that, which it wasn't back in the day when they built that thing. You can't. It was Bank One ballpark when it was first opened, right before Chase bought Bank One.
Yeah,
and they didn't engineer it that way. It's the same thing with the Astrodome. They thought with those translucent roof panels they could grow grass inside the Astrodome, and it failed miserably, and that's why we have AstroTurf.
Right.
So unless you engineer it that way to begin with, I don't think you can do it.
Here's a new name in here, Douglas Batista, CA. Good to see you in here, my friend. Said JP bought 4 tickets to opening day. Lots of tickets available. Cheapest seat, $130. I swallowed hard and paid $800 for 4 seats because it's my father's 81st. Awesome. They've outpriced many fans. Yes, they have. They have, as we knew Stu would do. Unfortunately, but I get it. Smaller stadium. We'll give them a little bit of a pass on that. Didn't have to be that much, but yeah. I think opening days, I don't know if you can't really tell if it's sold out because these tickets are on the secondary market. So I think all the tickets have been purchased. The ones that are available are on the secondary market. So it's already been sold out as far as I know. What else we got here? B says that Dan Doyle, I think 50 million net worth tops. Oh, I think it's more than that, but I could be wrong. I'll have to double check that. Train Track says, what's the probability of each group in terms of buying the Rays? I'll tell you this. It's interesting that there's 3 groups right now, right? I've been told that Major League Baseball is not only not adverse to it, but encourages some of the different investors to get together and put together a better group. So we may see an amalgamation of these 3 groups. DeBartolo could come in with the Doyle group, the Carter McCain group. There could be an amalgamation because all of these groups are talking to the commissioner. And Manfred can say, to start cherry picking people and say, how about you and you and you and you and you? Let's put this group together over here, this main group to buy the team. That's not, I'm told that's not unheard of. People familiar with buying and selling of teams have told me that's not unheard of. And I think it's a great approach because right now you have a bunch of different factions. Imagine taking like an all-star team of investors and putting them all together to make the deal go. I love that idea. Love that idea. So let's not get tied to, which group is with who right now, because I do think this could all change and move around. That's what I've been told by people familiar with how a lot of this stuff works out. So think about it in terms of that. And the bottom line is this is getting done. This is getting done. And it's probably going to happen, hopefully, in the next 6 months. It all depends on how much hardball Stu is going to play. And again, it's contentious now, obviously, by the public comments. So that's the wild card. I can't predict it. Nobody can. But he doesn't have anywhere to go. He can't hold on to the team because MLB will take his money, his revenue sharing money. That means he'll have to lose money to own the team. He's not doing that. He can't get a deal done in St. Pete. He can't get a deal done in Hillsborough. Nobody will work with him. And he can't move the team because MLB has to approve it. So he's got nowhere to go but sell. And at some point, he's going to have to accept a fair price and move everything forward. So,
right.
All right, let's take a break.
And by the way, I'm seeing the Doyle family net worth at $3 billion.
Yeah,
now, that's the family. I don't know how you split that between senior and junior, but it's the families involved.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
so that's what I thought. All right, quick break. When we come back, we're going to hit Chris Godwin. We're going to hear we got the money quote from him, and Tim and I are going to argue about how much money he left on the table and what it all means. And we got David Samson coming up. Nothing personal with David Samson. Great baseball podcast about everything, actually. Very entertaining guy will be joining us at 11 o'clock. So we're live from the Jeeves Law Group studio here in beautiful South Tampa today. 55 degrees and sunny. Oh, so nice. The Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. They have offices here in Tampa. They have offices in St. Pete. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Why go with a national firm and become just a number when you got somebody that's going to fight for you personally, know who you are, answer your calls, and handle your case with expertise? That is the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Non-attorney spokesman, offices St. Pete, Clearwater, back in 3. Old Hurricane Helene put a hurting on Tampa Bay, and for many of you, the rebuild will be a long process. You must beware of unscrupulous contractors offering up quick fixes for incredible prices. It's a scam. So go with long-standing reputable companies like Third Generation Plumbing and AC. My friend John Rodriguez has been serving Tampa Bay since 1995 with hundreds of 5-star reviews. If you need a new AC system or any home repairs from Helene, they will work with insurance companies to get you taken care of quickly, expertly installed, of course, and a 1-year maintenance plan and 10-year warranty included on all AC units. 0% financing for 60 months. Contact them at thirdgenerationplumbing.com or 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite. I love it. So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. Always get that insurance checkup. If you don't have flood insurance, guess what, kids? You need it. If you don't have business insurance, you need it. Not really expensive, too, depending on what you're doing, but you got to have it. So get the answers, know what it means, know what your exposure is if you don't have it. You get all those questions answered by a live human being. Yes, a live human, not a chat bot. A live human being will answer the phone and answer your questions. Yes, the old school. Italiano Insurance has been around for, I hate chatbots. Like, give me the most obvious answers to the questions. Like, what a waste of effing time. Real humans at Italiano Insurance, and they're super nice and they're helpful. Charity's amazing. 813-877-7799. All the great folks over there. We love Jeff and Dane and Charity and everybody over there. They're fantastic. Been in business for over 60 years, and they save you money. What a concept. They do the work and you save money. I love that. 813-877-7799.
If I didn't know better, I would have thought I was talking to a chatbot last night, JP.
The Asian chatbot?
She was way too pretty to be a chatbot.
Well, of course she is, because she's AI. She probably wasn't even real.
She was a fembot. I mean, I did have about 17 fireball / Tuwaka / Rumpelmint shots. But
yeah, it was definitely an AI hologram then.
But she was the bartender. She's the one.
Oh, definitely. That's what they're doing now.
The problem is I kept getting conflicting.
She's a robot.
I kept getting conflicting age reports about her. So she's either 20 or 30. I'm not sure.
Well, Asian girls, it's hard to tell. They could be 70. They could be 70 and look 20.
Gosh, she looks so good.
Just
saying.
Yeah.
I'm not traditionally into Asian girls, okay? Nothing against Asian women. You're all beautiful. But that's just never been my thing, right? But man, in the last 6 months,
they're beautiful and classy.
Johnny's wearing off on me or something, because that's all he goes for.
By the way, is Gerber coming on, giving us player picks today?
No, I will have his picks today, but he's not coming on. He's traveling again.
Just traveling. He's a traveling man.
He's traveling. I'm doing air quotes. Traveling.
All right. Do we have the picks before the show's up?
I'll have them ready I'll have them ready at 11:40.
Okay.
11:45.
Good. That'll be awesome.
Yep.
All right. So yesterday I was at the Chris Godwin press conference, and his lovely wife, Mariah, was there with Ace, his young 2.5-month-old child. Oh my God. So cute. Adorbs. And he, Chris, of course, we've said for a while, we didn't think he was leaving, even though he's the top free agent wide receiver out there. And there's going to be a lot of money thrown at him, because we said many times, he's not a money guy. And he got plenty of money, though. Let's not be naive. $22 million a year ain't chump change.
Yep.
But evidently, according to reports by Ian Rappaport and other people very well connected, Tim, he left $20 to $30 million on the table to re-sign with the Buccaneers. Now, Mike Evans did this, maybe not that much, Mike Evans took less money. Baker Mayfield took less money. This is all about the culture that the Bucs have built and are building. And I believe the culture comes first. The winning comes second. And let's be honest, this group is not one big yet. 2 years ago, almost, getting to the divisional round, that's winning. Is it winning big? You're right on the edge of winning big. I think you get to a conference, NFC conference championship. That's winning big. That's Final Four. That's winning big.
Yeah.
And obviously winning a Super Bowl is big league. Huge. So, the culture comes first. And this culture is unlike any I've ever seen. I mean, it does remind me of the 2002 Buccaneers. It does remind me of the 2004 Lightning. It does remind me of some of these championship teams I've covered, FSU in Florida, some of those teams as well. You see it. You see it. You feel it. It's palpable. The guys love each other. They hang out with each other. It's part of it. And this group maybe more than any I've seen. So that's why I think the Super Bowl window is open. And it's because of guys like Chris Godwin who have been leading the way. And I asked him about leaving money on the table. The audio's a little low, but let's play it for you. And then we can discuss, Tim.
Okay.
Here we go. Oh, I got to rewind. Hold on.
I got it.
What was
Okay,
the decision-making process like for you? There are reports out there that there were much bigger offers. Why did you come back for less money? What were those reasons? Talk a little bit about the process.
I think what it boiled down to, honestly, was family and just staying true to who I am. I feel like 9 out of 10 people in this position wouldn't necessarily have made the decision that I did, but I don't do the things that I do based on what other people would do. I trust my gut. I stay true to who I am. And one thing I've never done is made any decisions like solely based on the money. I think I'm fortunate enough to be in this position and to be here at this table again. That's a position that not many people have had. I recognize that, and I'm fortunate in that way. So for me, I had to do what's best for myself. I had to do what's best for our family. I had to do what we're the most comfortable with, but also I work with a lot of great people, and those things really are big factors. Enjoying where you work plays a big part in this. Enjoying coming to work, enjoying going in and putting in the time, because this game is way too tough to just be out there just winging it. Obviously I've gone through 2 big injuries now. The training camp here is not easy. The NFL is not easy by any means. We're the best in the world. 32 teams, the best in the world at what we do. So you have to really enjoy doing it, or it's not going to work the same way that it needs to. So there were a lot of things that factored into it. Those are some of the top.
I'd like to know if Roquan Smith came and visited him in the hospital. That's what I would have asked.
Is it a dirty play? We don't know. We didn't get to see the replay.
Yeah.
There's so much there that I love, and I kind of knew what he was going to answer. That's why I wanted to set him up for that.
Yeah.
But he's right. 9 out of 10 players would not do that. They wouldn't, because I believe the reports. I believe that there were other teams that were willing to spend, 28, over 4 years to get him. I don't know how much of that's guaranteed, but I think the $20 to $30 million is probably pretty close. Of course, everybody in my mentions is arguing about the taxes in Massachusetts and how much it really is. And I'm like, you guys are missing the point.
Yeah,
you guys are really, really missing the point here. That's not why Chris Godwin did what he did. It's everything he just mentioned. It's everything he just mentioned in terms of the people I love working with, where I live. Obviously, he just had a new baby, all of that. And it's the players around him. I mean, how do you go chase the money when Mike Evans took less money? How do you go chase the money when Baker Mayfield took less money? These guys are so tight that they talk about this stuff. And I thought Jason Light saying, and he was emotional about this signing. He was emotional because he's trying to keep the band together and satisfy everybody. And to do that, everybody has to be on board. We saw this with the Lightning when they went on their run with Stamkos. He took less money to start. Everybody is taking less money so you can get more good players. That's what the smart guys who want to win do. And that's what this team culture is all about. And it's special and it's different. And I'm here for it. And if you're a Buccaneer fan, you got to absolutely love it and pour into it.
Right.
And because it's rare. I think it's very rare in professional sports when you get a group of guys that band together like this because they want to win. Now, look, they ain't, digging ditches and they're getting paid well. But still, you see players all the time chasing the money. And it's all about their bag. That's why Hassan Reddick signing here is a little strange. It's kind of out of the norm. But they must feel that he's on board or they wouldn't bring him in. And Jason Light got emotional about it. I thought what Jason said was very interesting because he said, I feel obligated to use this money, this savings, to go out and get good players and finish up this roster and fill the holes. And he is. He feels that responsibility as he should. Because if you're going to, make these deals that are below market value and players are going to agree to them, that means you're not going to go out. And I think it's one of the reasons why he doesn't go out and drunken spend on Myles Garrett or some of these other guys and, have these huge contracts because everybody else on them. Wait, I took less money. You're giving that guy $40 million a year? Not doing it. That's one of the reasons Jason Light is not. I know if you all want to go out and get these big superstars and long contracts at huge dollars, you're kind of, if you do that, you're kind of, short circuiting and giving the finger to the guys that took less money.
Yeah. Then you can't do stuff like this.
Right. You got to be responsible. So, and you got to, I hate to say this, believe in the process, not the,
right.
not
right,
that
Jason
process,
Garrett.
the Bucs process. And I think it's really good.
All right. And look, in my arguments yesterday on X and other places, I was not saying that he didn't turn down more money. I'm not saying that he didn't give the Bucs a hometown discount. He certainly did. But just like Chase on X mentioned at me at, 11 o'clock last night, man, you're really effing annoying. He didn't say effing. I trust his word over a mall Santa. It seems to be far more trustworthy than you. Okay, look, I don't know what the mall Santa reference was, but it was funny, okay? That was funny.
That is a good one. Let's table this debate till after.
Because David is here.
Yes, David is here. We'll tape because we're going to have some fun with this. But let's bring in our good friend David Samson from the Nothing Personal. Oh, there he is. With David Samson podcast, the best in the business. If you're not listening to this, what are you doing? David, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today.
I want to make sure your audience listens to both my show and your show. So if you're listening to this and you have an extra 50 minutes a day, check out Nothing Personal. Thank you. How you doing?
I'm awesome. And our good mutual friend, Sam Sodas, says hello and says she's trying to get to camp, whatever that means. She definitely is trying to get to camp.
I went to camp with Sam Sodas, and you're never a better version of yourself than you are when you're at camp.
I totally agree with that. That we could do a whole podcast on that. I was fascinated by your video the other day on the Rays, and I think I wanted to bring you to our audience for them to understand that this is unprecedented. What Major League Baseball is doing and pressuring Stu Sternberg to sell in the way they're doing it is unprecedented. The floor is yours. Please educate my audience as to what you're talking about here.
Well, I just want to point out that the way it works in baseball is that 23 is the magic number, not just because it's Michael Jordan's uniform number. 23 is the number of votes you need out of 30 owners to do just about anything. Now, when you are a franchise in baseball, you sign a franchisee agreement. And that agreement says that you will have a place to play or your franchise can be taken away. The other sort of agreement you sign is that you are party to a collective bargaining agreement. And a collective bargaining agreement is what sets minimum salaries. It has all the different rules of how you can put your roster together, but also it talks about revenue sharing. And revenue sharing is a way for teams with a lot of revenue to give revenue to teams with not a lot of revenue in an effort to level the playing field. And one of the levers that baseball can pull in order to get owners to behave is they can threaten the revenue sharing of a team. And the Rays get a lot of money from revenue sharing, and they've got to cooperate in a way the Oakland A's did, where they were told, you're not going to get revenue sharing if you don't get a new stadium deal. And it is possible that baseball and the union will do the same thing to Tampa. What Rob is really doing is trying to get expansion. He wants the expansion fees to be divvied up amongst all 30 owners. He wants to go to 32 teams. He wants to change the divisions to 8 divisions of 4 teams. And to do it, he's got to get the Tampa situation taken care of, which is why he schlepped to Florida during the winter meetings. It's why he thought that was done when they made that announcement in July, and why he's trying to exert pressure for either Stu to do the deal or to sell the team to a group who will not relocate, but who will do the deal. So that's really what we're waiting for right now.
Is it your opinion that Stu, I've used the word cornered, because he's poisoned the water on both sides of the bay? Hillsborough doesn't want to work with him in terms of a deal. St. Pete now does not want to work with him in terms of a deal. He can't hold on to the team if he's going to lose money by not having revenue sharing, or he's, and we know Stu's not going to lose money. So he's pretty much cornered him now, right?
Let me be clear about something. During the course of building Marlins Park, I am trying to think about the number of times that the public entities, the mayor, the commissioners, the managers, the number of times they said, I will never work with that Samson guy again. But guess what? At the end of the day, the government's job is to do deals. The government's job is to foment business, to keep a professional sports team in the city in which it currently resides. They'll do business with Stu if Stu's ready to do business with them. The real question is a new stadium in St. Petersburg actually going to solve the problem that Tampa has, where they have a low payroll in order to not lose money? And what we found in Miami is we thought it would be the panacea to success, and it wasn't. And I assume Stu is having that same cold feet issue. And you manifest it by making up the fact that you're a year delayed. You want more money for this and more money for that. Really what you're saying is, I'm nervous about the commitment I'm making. And Matt Silverman, the president, said it. He said, we have to decide if Tampa, St. Pete, is right for MLB and for us for the next 30 years. But that's code word for, give me more money, please.
Well, didn't they know that before they did this deal? Nothing has materially changed. I mean, that's one of the reasons I was so against it. It's the same failed location. And yes, the Rays were going to make a lot of money in real estate development and all that stuff. It was good for them. I think it was horrible for St. Pete. I think it was horrible for Pinellas County in terms of what they were giving up. And I think it was never going to solve the problem. So from the very beginning, I thought this was a really bad deal all the way around. How did the Rays, less than a year later, say our projections now are that it's not going to work out? I mean, what material had changed?
So it's not a baseball deal, really. When you look at these stadium deals, they've become real estate plays.
Yeah.
And so having the area like they have in Atlanta, or what they do in Chicago or St. Louis or Boston, or what the owner of Inter Miami is trying to do with Messi's team, Inter Miami, their FC, they're trying to do a real estate play near the airport. It's all about figuring out how you can make money outside of the baseball revenue sharing system, where you can help fund your baseball proclivities. And what it used to be is that regional sports networks did that. So if you owned a network like the Yes Network or Nesson or Masson or SNY, you were able to make money, and you were able to use that money to help fund the operation of your team. What could have changed? Interest rates, inflation, the cost of development, the timeline to actually having the ancillary development, throwing off money to your team. That may have been pushed back. All of that from the hurricane, from just life. And so they likely went back to their financial pro formas and said the current deal as it's constituted is not going to work for us. And my issue, honestly, they've got till March 31st. Stu said he'd give you an answer as quickly as possible. They're waiting to the last minute because they're trying to see whether or not the public will blink, whether or not there will be a deal to get more money into the deal from the public sector. There's no reason
definitely
to walk
not
away.
happening. Yeah,
You
that's
say
definitely
that,
not happening.
But the number of cities where the public has said no mas, and then all of a sudden there's mas, but it comes in a different form, that happens every day. So they could be creatively trying to figure out how to save face where it looks like no more money's going into the stadium, but they get extra tax incentives or tax breaks for the ancillary development because dollars are fungible. And so what they could be working on is a different framework of a deal where both sides can say, hey, the public didn't put more money into the ballpark, and Tampa and Stu can say, we stepped up and decided to make this our permanent home.
David Samson joining us here. The Nothing Personal podcast with David Samson is a must listen. Please like and subscribe. David, Major League Baseball's hand in this, I think, has changed dramatically over the last 6 months. I think, at some point, Rob Manfred said, all right, if you can get a deal done in St. Pete, go ahead. But they've always wanted the stadium to be in Tampa. That's where all the long-term revenue is. And as you say, if they're going to build an entertainment district, you don't want it where there's 600,000 people within the 30-minute drive, surrounded by water on the edge of the market. You want it in the middle of the market where there's 2.8 million people within the 30-minute drive, and also accessible to the Orlando market, which, is on the east side and all the development, clearly. So I think Major League Baseball has kind of figured out that Stu can't get a deal, because Manfred has basically said this publicly now, or at least through The Athletic, Ken Rosenthal, and all the Evan Drellich, Jeff Passan. We've seen these articles. And basically said it's not happening on either side. Stu can't get the deal done. We have a group of elite Tampa's businessmen, which I know who these people are. We can't say their names yet, but they are indeed. They're very well connected. And I think they all believe, including Rob Manfred, that they can now get a deal done in Tampa where maybe they haven't done before. And I think that these folks will bring the political connections and the political might. It will be very, I think, agreeable to the public because of who these people are. And I think that's where this is headed. And I think that's why we're seeing these unprecedented steps of Major League Baseball publicly censuring almost Stu Sternberg and saying, we're going to take your money away if you don't get this deal done. That's the way I read it. Am I wrong?
No, but it's different by saying that you're going to put in some levers versus forcing a sale. The forcing of the sale is really a tough one for me. There's the Marge shot. There's the Donald Sterling. There's
that's a better
Daniel
way to put it.
Snyder. Forcing a sale is not really because you can't get a stadium deal done. It's because you are such a horrible person and such a horrible character that the halo effect on the whole industry is negative. What Stu Sternberg is not that. What he is and what he's always been is a Wall Street guy who, by the way, has been the third most successful team since 08. So we can talk all we want about my 18 years in baseball where I won a World Series, but spent the rest of my career chasing Amy and trying to finish 500. While Tampa has not won the World Series, they've been hugely successful on the field, which leads you to believe that a new stadium, whether it's in St. Pete or Tampa, has a chance to possibly draw more people and make it more exciting for fans to attend. But in terms of the sale of the team, the reason why owners don't like doing that is their advisors, like me, would say to their owner, today it's Stu, tomorrow it could be you.
Yeah.
So you do not want to get in the habit of getting 23 owners getting together and doing something so severe like you must sell, short of something acute happening that's character-based and not money-based.
Yeah. David, so how do you think this ends? What's your feeling right now on how this ends?
I think it ends with tears and a journey, as Judi Dench liked to say in Shakespeare in Love.
I've had plenty of tears.
There's been so many tears. I think it ends with a stadium deal, and I do think it ends with the sale of the franchise, because I think that Stu is going to get a number that his investors and him are going to realize that this is the smartest way to go. And the reason why the timing is good now is you're going to head into a work stoppage. And a work stoppage, however long it lasts, is going to have a really negative impact on owners and on cash flow. But what you will see is a sales price that takes into account what a distribution would have been once expansion happens, because Stu's not going to give that money to a new owner. He's going to want his hands on that money. But you also are going to see Stu realize from a business sense that instead of investing such a huge amount in a stadium where he has been taught to believe it's not going to work, let it be someone else's problem, get the price that you want, And to the extent that MLB can be helpful, which it always is, it was helpful when the Dodgers sold to Mark Walter. It was helpful when John Henry bought the Red Sox. MLB can get involved in these situations when Ted Lerner bought the Nationals and encroached on Baltimore and their area when Masson was formed. MLB can really foment a deal here, and I think that's more likely what they're working on than going to Stu and saying, you must sell.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is going to happen. I think he will sell, but it will not be because he was really forced to.
All right. While I got you here, you mentioned the work stoppage, and of course the earthquake that is ESPN and MLB breaking up after 30 years of marriage. Where is this going with regional sports networks going away, streaming coming up? What do you think Manfred's play is here? How does that work into the new CBA? There's a lot here. Give me your genius about where baseball is going now.
So let me first tell you that I'm not shilling for Major League Baseball. God knows if you listen to my show, I'm not doing that. But what I will tell you is that baseball was just as happy as ESPN to have that deal disappear. Yeah. Because baseball has viewed since my days in baseball that ESPN was really not a good partner at all. Whether it was under John Skipper, Jimmy Pitaro, anybody else, they always felt like a third cousin. And so what baseball is going to do under the leadership of Rob and Noah Garden is they're going to get more money than the $550. They're going to get more exposure, more love, and still they're going to get to pool all of the local rights that teams have and do more national deals to get more national money, because the NBA and the NFL model is the right model in this day and age. Yep. And you know the NBA is having problems with Jim Dolan, the owner of the Knicks, because he's got a regional network that's suffering, maybe almost bankrupt, because the NBA is going more national instead of local. MLB is going to have similar issues because there are networks that are still okay, but nothing like they used to be. Right. So it's going to be easier for Rob to get 23 teams to agree to pool local rights, to pool streaming rights, and to make it more national, more revenue sharing, more ability to stop the economic disparity that exists between highest and lowest payrolls. And the way you do that is by giving everybody more money and not stopping the teams at the top like the Dodgers and Yankees from making more money, because they will. It's by making the whole industry greater. Because if you make the industry greater by $30, you're making it greater for $1 per team. And if you convince teams that you are giving them an incremental dollar, they will always agree to be a part of a team. So I think that what you're going to see is a better broadcast deal that MLB will do under the leadership of Noah and Rob. And I think that ESPN, as much as they want to be involved, is struggling to figure out Flagship, their new direct-to-consumer product. They need to get content. And that's why you hear rumors of them trying to do local deals with all the regional sports networks, which are now called FanDuel. But I don't think they'll be able to do it. So it's going to be really interesting to see who regrets it most. Because in a divorce, often one side regrets it more than the other. It's a dream scenario when both people are on the same page. But my experience tells me that doesn't happen very often. And the question is, who is going to feel better about the divorce? And frankly, I'd rather be MLB right now.
Yeah, like my ex-wife. No doubt. I won that one. David, awesome stuff. Well, I guess it depends on your perception. Listen, David, thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. By the way, that chair, that's a glove.
How great is that?
Look at that thing.
That's a glove chair.
That's fantastic.
And he's got Wilson over his right shoulder there, too.
I know. I got the whole thing back there.
In the Lego Stadium. I've been admiring his background this entire time.
It's been fantastic.
I've got the Survivor torch over there that was snuffed after 3 days. Yeah, I do. I enjoy my set. That is for sure. And this glove chair is an important part of what I do every day. What I will tell you is it's built for looks, not for comfort. So what you don't see on camera is the tiny tushy cushion I have, because absent that, it would be a total disaster.
Oh, my God. You're fantastic, David. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate your time, and good luck with all you're doing going on there. Thank you very much.
Have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, David.
David Samson. That was fantastic. That was really, really good. We got to take a timeout, and we'll get back to the Buccaneers stuff. I want to go over a lot that he brought up there as well. So we got a lot more to bring you. Let's take a quick break. We're brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. Love is in the air. It is spring. It is March. The flowers are blooming. And we know you want to pop the question, but you're like, you got to get a ring. What's it going to cost me? Hey, free interest for up to 5 years at the Gold and Diamond Source. You get a $5,000 ring for $80 a month. How about that? Interest rates
better
are coming
last
down.
night. Let's give it a minute.
What? The Gold and Diamond Source, folks, they have a great staff there. It's not intimidating. You walk in and you say, hey, this is what I'm looking to spend. What can I do? Blah, blah, blah. Make sure you get a real diamond, by the way. Don't get a fake. Don't start off with a fake diamond. It's a bad idea. So it's easy, super easy. Let them take all the stress off you. Go down there and tell them JP sent you. It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Back in 3. Stay with us. Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. Hey guys, February's birthstone is amethyst, a stunning purple gem that symbolizes peace, protection, tranquility, and sincerity. Celebrate her birthday or your 6th and 17th wedding anniversaries with an unforgettable amethyst gift. And of course, for over 40 years, the Gold and Diamond Source has been Tampa Bay's most trusted name in fine jewelry. We only sell natural diamonds. If it's real love, it should be a real natural diamond. Don't get a fake. The Gold and Diamond Source first-time buyer program will help you learn about the 4 C's, what style, shape, and color works best for you and your unique style. Folks, it's the best customer service. They make it so easy for you, and they're not going to push you into something that you cannot afford. 0% financing for up to 5 years. If you finance $5,000, it's only $83 a month. Also, you can turn your old unused gold into cash or a stunning new piece. With gold prices soaring, there's no better time to trade up. So get that old jewelry and bring it on in. You know where, the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Our thanks to David Samson there for joining us. He did the Dan Lebitard show earlier today, and then did our show, and then is going to do his show. He's a man in demand. Funny guy.
Wow,
really,
yeah,
really
no, great.
Connected.
It's a great show too. Check it out.
Yeah, it really is. It's not one of those yelling and screaming shows and debates. Like Tim and I are going to do here in a little bit.
I'm not going to yell.
Tim, you ignorant slut. That's coming.
I've been called worse.
Oh, man, when they replayed that on SNL, I'm like, yeah, they said that on TV.
Did I ever tell you that story about that sketch and me and my mom?
No.
So when that sketch originally aired, I'm probably 8 years old, and I'm watching it live in my bedroom on my little black and white 13-inch TV that I had in my room, right? And I'm watching Saturday Night Live in the late 70s. And I don't know what that means, right? I have no clue what ignorant slut means. Yeah. All I know is I just saw it on TV and it got a huge laugh, right? As soon as that aired, I walked into my mom's room. I opened the door. She's on her bed, probably watching SNL too, or whatever she was watching. Nightline. No, Nightline wasn't invented yet. Whatever she was watching, probably an Agatha Christie mystery murder thing. Open my door and I look in. I didn't even walk in. I just poke my head. I go, "Mom, you ignorant slut." And I closed the door and I walked back into my room.
Oh my God.
And about literally 30 seconds passed. I'm already sitting back in my bed. My mom walks in. She goes, "What did you just say to me?" And I said, and again, I think I'm being really funny, right?
Yeah.
"Mom, you ignorant slut."
How old were you? Like 8?
Probably 8.
Yeah.
I wasn't 10. I was young, elementary school age. And I think I'm being funny. And I said it again. "Mom, you ignorant slut." And she goes, "Where did you just hear that?" She knows me, right? I repeat things. I said, "Oh, I just saw it on Saturday Night Live. It was really funny." She didn't say a word. She walked over. She unplugged my TV out of the wall. She picked it up and she carried it to her room. I never saw that TV again. I never got an explanation. She didn't say like, "Oh,
that's parenting right there." That's parenting right there.
I didn't have a TV in my room again until I was 17.
Remove it. Remove the problem. Remove the problem. There you go. Yeah. For those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, go look up SNL skit with Jane Curtin and Dan Aykroyd when they used to do the Weekend Update.
Yep.
They do a debate. And they said, actually, they said something about that. I think Aykroyd said that he had said it in rehearsal and it got a huge laugh.
Yeah.
So he just off the cuff, so he went with it.
Chevy Chase was on that anniversary show and he goes, "A lot of people don't know I was the first one to say that to her. I just said it off the air."
maybe that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty funny.
"Jane, you ignorant slut."
So great.
Oh, it was. That was back when SNL was funny.
Probably the last time it was funny, right?
It's getting back though. It's getting back. Yeah. Well, I think when they allowed Colin Jost and Michael Shea to write each other's racial jokes.
Funny, man.
I mean, that was a return to the 80s. That was a taboo, type thing that I'm sure. I'm not so sure that they weren't like, should we really do this?
Yeah. Did they go rogue, you think, at one point? They were told probably not to do that and they did it anyway.
I think it's a stroke of brilliance. I think it's really a stroke of brilliance in terms of the comedic structure of that, because it's the black guy writing the joke. Yeah. So it's almost like a black guy.
It's okay to say it, right?
So it's okay, but it's coming out of a white guy's mouth.
And maybe the most whitest guy ever.
Yes.
Colin Jost.
And then I think Colin does such a great job of delivering the joke and then just like cringing at the same time, to give the feeling like, I really didn't want to say this, but this is my job and it's supposed to be funny. But it harkened back to the time when we could make fun of each other. Yeah. We can make funny, like, and then the white jokes that Michael, they're so spot on.
Dude, they are so. Do you know who Colin Jost is married to?
Yeah,
what the hell?
ScarJo, yeah.
Yeah,
Scarlett
my
Johansson.
future ex-girlfriend.
Oh, love her.
Did you see? So they did an episode where he was saying something about her, like jokes that Michael Che wrote, and it was kind of about her.
Yeah, and she was in the wings, and they would cut away to her like
that's how I found out they were married. I didn't know that until I saw that. I'm like, no, he got that. There's still hope for me.
And to me, it's kind of counterintuitive, but when you can make fun of each other's cultures like that, it shows me that you're not racist, that you're open-minded, and you can laugh at yourself, and we can laugh at, what white people like and what black people like. And, I just recently went to the Cat Williams comedy show. It was a black comedy show, and Jesus, it's so funny. And they're taking shots at white people, and I'm like, it's funny. I'm not offended in any way. No, not in any way. And taking shots at black people too. And it's let's laugh at ourselves for God's sakes. And the people that are all uptight about it, those are the people with the Nazi uniforms in the closet.
Yeah,
those are the people you got to worry about.
If that makes you uncomfortable, then you're the problem, not the joke.
As the great Malcolm X once pointed out, the white liberals are the ones you got to be afraid of. They pretend to be your friends. They are wolf in sheep's clothing. 100%.
And they did another one. So I guess Lady Gaga was on the show at one point, and so they had this character that was on the show on Weekend Update with Colin. Lord Gaga. It was supposed to be like her husband or whatever that had no idea that she was popular and famous. And he's like, oh, it's cute that you guys let my wife come on and do her little hobby of singing and playing good piano and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And, he had like no idea that she was famous, right?
Right.
And it was just a character, right? And Colin's like, wait, that she's won awards and she's really, really, she makes a lot of money. And he looks at Colin Yost and goes, wait, are you trying to tell me that my wife makes more money than me? No self-righteous man could ever allow his wife to make more. And then he went off on this tangent about the wife making more than the husband. And of course it was directed right at him, right? Because obviously that's the case. Exactly. And Colin, like, it wasn't rehearsed. Colin Yost had no idea. Jost had no idea this was going to happen. And dude, he was in tears. Like, what man would allow his wife to make more money than him? That's
my God.
Irresponsible husbandship. And dude, it was freaking hysterical.
All right, this show's gotten off the rails.
Lord Gaga. He was Lord Gaga because she's Lady Gaga.
I love that. I absolutely love that. All right, so getting back to what David said, and I thought it was really interesting. I think, I don't know if we share the same feelings about Stu as obviously he's been in baseball as a president. Sure, he's friends with Stu, but that regardless. It's just he understands where this is heading, which is a new stadium on the Tampa side, most likely with new ownership. So, and that's what's good. And that's all that really matters. But I think also his perspective on where baseball is going is also good, because I think baseball's disparity in between the haves and the have-nots has never been worse. And I think the CBA is going to establish a floor, which I think the owners are finally okay with that. At least they should be.
Yeah.
So. All right, let's move on to some other topics, especially the Buccaneers. We started with Godwin, and to the topic of him leaving money on the table. I think arguing how much money, honestly, he left on the table, and I understand what you're saying, Tim. It's like nobody knows.
No,
we didn't see it, but I think
I find it hard to believe that number is a thing. So you're
I think
you're
it was
telling me he left $8 to $9 million a year on the table? Like,
well, it's not. It's not. I mean, what the top receivers are now making. What, 37, 38 million a year? He was considered the top free agent receiver available once T. Higgins was franchised, et cetera, et cetera. Devontae Adams, everybody else.
But he's not going to get T. Higgins money.
No.
Nobody
thinks
that.
He's too old and injured for that.
Right,
I get it.
Right.
So I think there was, I think there was a significant, because teams have a lot more money and they understand the value of a Chris Godwin. Not only, that's why I think the Patriots wanted him, because of his toughness, his everything that he displays, his character, all of that, because they're rebuilding. They need culture makers. And his culture and character fit right in with the old Belichick culture. And now Vrabel's bringing it out. I'm sure Vrabel looked at the tape of Chris Godwin and said, that's my guy. How much are we going to pay for this guy? I don't think $28 million over 4 years is unreasonable to think that he was offered that. So that's 6 times 4. We're getting up into that 20 million range, over the life of the deal. That's 20 to 30 million, a year. No.
Right.
But over the life of the deal, was it probably close to 20 million? Yeah, I think it was. I do. I believe that.
Like over a 3-year deal? I mean, that's.
If it's a 3-year at 6, that's 18. If it's a 4-year deal at 6, it's 24. So what are we doing here? I think arguing over that is kind of silly anyway, because the main point is he took a significantly less, whatever you want to call it,
and I
to
agree
stay
with
in Tampa. And that's the point. And I think that's what we should be talking about. And then, then they can go out and give Anthony Nelson, who's a good player. He's not a game changer, but he did change some games this past year, at least one. He got him into the playoffs with that strip in the Panthers game because they were losing that game, and that would have cost them the division likely. So he saved the season, and I've always loved Anthony Nelson. I think he's underappreciated. So they get him for a 2-year, $10 million deal, which is good. And when you talk about the savings of, a Godwin or a Baker or whatever, it doesn't turn into maybe, a $20 million a year deal for Myles Garrett or $30 million a year for somebody like that. But you know what it does turn into? It turns into $14 million for Hassan Reddick. It turns into $10 million for Anthony Nelson.
It lets you do that.
Now we're playing winning football. All right. These are, we have issues on the edge. Now we're not forced to take an edge rusher with the first, pick. Well, maybe now we could take wide receiver and replace you, Chris Godwin. I'm kidding. But it's all part of it. And they trust Jason Light to make the right decisions because he's done so. He has a track record of doing so. And, through the Brady years, through this rebuild, drafting well, making the right moves. So this all comes together. The players trust the organization. They trust the front office. They trust ownership, despite what that stupid survey, NFLPA survey says.
Right. It's so garbage.
And that's the point. And that's what they're building. And they went out and got a punter yesterday, Riley Dixon from the Broncos, paid him $3 million a year. They were last in punting. He's one of the better punters in the game. That's a huge deal. And that's smart money. Again, that Godwin savings you just got, that's your punter. That's a big deal. When you got a quarterback eating up $60 million, Dak Prescott, of your cap, you can't do these things. So kudos to Jason Light. Kudos to Chris Godwin and Baker and everybody else that's taking less money. I don't think Ben Bredesen took less money, though.
No.
$7 million a year. What are you doing, hog? I'm kidding.
Yeah, and I got lit up, too, I don't know about lit up. I did have some people agreeing with me that's hard to imagine, hard to believe. But like I told you, Chase, you're so effing annoying. I trust his word over a mall Santa. That was so great. And then I had at too needy, though. Need Yo Facts Checked is his name or her name on X. Dave Chappelle turned down $50 million. Things happen. So I have to confess, JP, I had to go look up who Dave Chappelle is.
Oh my God! Come on,
of course,
bro.
I recognized him after I looked him up. But so apparently,
you know who Dave Chappelle is?
His famous comedian, right? I know him from the movie.
Iconic.
I don't know if he's iconic.
Generational talent.
I didn't know who he was.
Oh my God.
What's he ever done other than the Robin Hood movie? He was in the Robin Hood movie.
I'm rethinking doing a show with a mall Santa at this point.
But look, and apparently he turned down $50 million after my research to continue his show. That's a little different than Chris Godwin turning down 20 to play football for the Bucs. But
yeah, that was a real game changer.
Yeah, the point was taken. And then somebody made a point about it being probably it would have been backloaded money he would have never have seen anyway. That's not the point. The point is he gave the Bucs a hometown discount because he wanted to continue to play for them rather than play anywhere else. I don't deny that at all. All right. The figure is just what was making my brain go crazy. I can't imagine somebody leaving $20 million on the table to play in Tampa Bay rather than New England. Okay, it's football. It's football. And it's probably the last big contract he'll get because especially if he gets hurt again. Yeah. He's not going to get a lot of money on the next deal, but
he's going to end up making, about $120 million if this is his last contract in football. And Chris Godwin's not, the dude that's out there, buying 3 Lamborghinis. So
and Chris Godwin could not be a number 1 receiver for every team in the NFL. I saw some arguments for that. He's really a number 1 that's getting paid like a number 2. Well, no, he's not a number 1.
He's actually making more than Mike now.
He's making more than Mike right now, right? But that'll change next offseason when Mike has to get paid again if he wants to play, if he doesn't retire. By the way, that's something that not a lot of people or no one's talking about. Mike Evans might retire after this year. You guys think about that, okay? But dude,
he has another good year, though. He ain't retiring.
I don't think he is either. But
I
that
think he's going to. I think he's going to
there.
play. I like Fitzgerald. I think he's going to play till about 35, 36.
We may have Levante David and Mike Evans riding off into the Tampa Bay sunset together at next offseason.
I think this will be Levante's last year because he'll be 36 if he comes back the next year. Mike's just 31.
31, yeah. No, I agree. But possibility is there, and everyone's forgetting with all of these free agent signings that are happening and fans wanting them to overpay for an edge rusher. You got to pay Mike again next offseason. All right.
Yep.
You got to have something left over for that. And trust me, Jason Light knows that. And he's not forgetting that.
And the cap's going up. So don't worry about it.
Exactly.
Let's relax. All right. So I wanted to get to the Lightning as well. So last night they lose 4-1 to the Hurricanes. And they were pretty good in the first period. They had a lot of opportunities. Point missed a golden opportunity. Sorelli missed a golden opportunity. Gensel, Kucherov. I mean, Kachekov was really good in goal for Carolina last night. But then kind of the second period got ugly, where Carolina spent almost the entire freaking period in the Lightning end. And Vasi made a couple of great saves. Like the first goal, the Bolts are on the power play. Kucherov just blindly throws the puck into the middle of the ice. Now, he's done this before, and we've scored goals, and we've said, well, oh, my God, Kucherov is amazing. Well, this didn't turn out that way. It was intercepted, and then Seth Jarvis scores on a really bad angle backhand that went over Vasi's shoulder, where he was kind of stuck back in the net. Didn't love his positioning on that one. But it's a shorty, and you're like, every goal at Carolina is going to be massive, because they're so good defensively, and they're tough to play against there. So you're down 1-0, and then second period, they just spending the entire period in their end, and Vasi makes two ridiculous saves, and then Martin Hook on another turnover, like a third turnover in a row. Martin Hook just throws this weak backhand, at a bad angle. And it somehow climbs up Vasi's stick because he's not tied to the post. I don't know how the hell the thin thing went in, but it's like softest goal ever. And you're just like, oh, now it's 2-0 at Carolina, and it just seems insurmountable. Then they go to 3-0 on another turnover, and it's just this looks like Lightning October. Like this is the same team we saw in October. Bad passing, terrible puck management, Vasi not good, and it's been this way for almost 3 games now. They've lost, of course, they won the Buffalo game, but they were down 5-3 late in the third in that one. Came back and won it, which you give them full credit for, but you can do that against bad teams. Can't do that against Carolina. You can't do it. And even against Boston the other day where they got outworked. I'm not sure they were outworked last night. They just, were sloppy with the puck. Now, Kucherov. So Kucherov gets benched 2 games ago for bad turnovers. He does it again last night.
He didn't play the whole third period, right?
No, he did not. But he also got hit in practice the other day, and left the ice. So he's injured. But he did play the first 2 periods, and then he, last night it looked like he might have got nicked again, and didn't play the third period at all. And maybe it's just Coop saying, we need to give him a rest. Yeah. Give him a rest. Let him get healthy, and it's not like he's helping us tonight anyway. We're down 3-0 to these guys. He's not playing well. Let's just give it a rest. Am I concerned? No, because it's John Cooper. John Cooper will figure it out. They'll figure it out with Kucherov. They'll be fine. This is the way Coop coaches. It's not all, rainbows and lollipops. He's going to get benched, and, you got to kind of motivate Cooch in a different kind of way. And nobody's better at it than John Cooper. So I'm not pulling, I'm pushing the panic button yet. They got 18 games left, but there's no denying that since the deadline deals were made, this team has not played well. It has not played well. Man, maybe it's finished, figuring out where Bjorkstrand and Yanni Gourde fit.
Yeah.
And again, nobody better at that than Cooper. They'll figure it out. But there's no denying that these last few games have been awful. And I mean awful. As good as the Lightning were in January or February, they've been that bad. This has not been good. So,
and for those of you out there that are like, holy crap, we lost to the Hurricanes, the Lightning are slumping, blah, blah,
Hurricanes
blah.
Are good.
Dude, first of all, the Hurricanes are really good. They're second in their division, right? 82 points. They're more points than the Lightning have. They're probably a little better than the Lightning overall, top to bottom on the roster. But they're 25-7-1 when they score first, which they did. They're also 21-0-0 at home when leading by 2 goals or more. So when they got to 2, it was over. There was nothing the Lightning could do. And just don't read too much into this. But dude, the Hurricanes are good. So just don't read too much.
They're really good at home. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they got the Flyers. They're at the Flyers Thursday.
Yep.
And then they're at Boston on Saturday, which is going to be a payback game for that. Then they're back home against the Flyers on Monday. So on St. Patrick's Day, it's going to be a great one. Join us. Have some green beer.
I'll be having some beer. All right.
So we have Torts and the Flyers, 2 out of the next 3 games. Interesting. Then we got the Stars.
The Dallas Stars.
Yeah.
Boy, they're on a tear right now, too.
They're playing well.
Yeah, when they made the big trade
for Rantanen.
Mikko Rantanen, their odds to win the Stanley Cup went from like plus 1,400 to plus 600 just because of the trade for Rantanen. And dude, and especially in this Dallas-Fort Worth area and still in the wake of the Luka thing, that is still a thing here. Like, the people are still talking about it. It's maddening to me. Like, just get over it, right? And then you have the Dallas Cowboys, who are really doing nothing in free agency, and they made one move last year in free agency. They made one signing, Eric Kendrick, linebacker, right? That's all they did last year. They've kept some of their own this year. They've let some guys get away. So really, DFW, I mean, the Rangers are supposed to be really, really good here. We're in spring training, and they're one of the favorites to win the World Series going into 2025. But really, the Stars are kind of the thing right now, man, because you got Jim Nill, our GM, who can do no wrong right now. And it's fun to watch. And Dallas is for sure a football city, right? It will always be a football city. The Rangers have seen that their entire existence. We got lucky with the Stars because when they moved here in #94 from Minnesota, the North Stars, dude, they won the Stanley Cup in '99 and they were in contention in '97, '98, right? That they were really good. So fans here got to see a winning hockey team. So fans here love winners. So we got kind of spoiled, right? And then they kind of fell off. They lost the cup in 2000.
Wait, you love the Cowboys.
The Devils.
They're not winners.
Exactly. But for whatever reason, Cowboys fans continue to love the Cowboys. I don't get it. I don't understand it. They haven't won anything in 30 years.
Right.
But the Stars carry this time of year because nobody cares about the Mavericks. The Stars carry the city this time of year, and it's fun to watch, man. But Jim Nill can do no wrong. There are posters of Jim Nill and Nico Harrison, the Mavericks GM, up around town with the Jim Nill with the heart and Nico with the circle with the line through it, right? And then Jerry always has the circle with the line through it.
Listen, I think the Lightning are going to be fine, and I think they'll be better once they get to the playoffs. And we'll see what the Panthers have done with Seth Jones and Marchand, and the Dallas has done with Rantanen. There's a lot of teams that made moves, and we'll see who plays the best. But right now, if you're a Lightning fan, it's not time to panic, but just hide your eyes a little bit.
The Florida Panthers are kind of embroiled in some controversy right now.
Wow.
With Ekblad being banned 20 games?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. You got the
performance-enhancing drugs.
Yeah. So that's going to last into the playoffs.
Yeah, but you know what? Go test the rest of the team right now. Like right now, they should all be tested. If there's one of them doing it, it's likely some other ones too. So I'm just saying.
And Marchand shows up, and they get a PED suspension.
Yeah, their postseason could be done before it starts.
Oh, I don't know if losing Ekblad's gonna. I mean, they're
no, but I mean, if there's more, if more happens,
if there's more. Oh my God. Well, listen, Kachuk and Marchand are injured.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know how they're going to come back, if they're going to come back, when they're going to come back, and then you got to go through, the grind that is the Stanley Cup playoffs, whatever your injury is.
Yep.
And we don't know how they're going to figure in. So now you could be without Ekblad, Marchand, and Kachuk. So So maybe we do want him in the first round. Oh,
be a good time.
Let me rethink this. I hadn't even thought about that. Let me rethink. If you want to catch the Panthers, you want to catch them as early as possible.
Right now you do.
Interesting.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Hey, let's take our final break, and then I want to come back. The Bucs have signed somebody else. So we will dive into that.
And we have Johnny's picks for the players this week.
Johnny's pick for the players and your comments. We'll get to more of your comments. All that coming back. Brought to you by the great folks at Third Generation Plumbing and AC. Whatever you need, summer's coming up, folks. It's going to get hot, so you better get that air conditioner checked out. They'll do a great little service for you just to make sure you got your Freon right, everything's good. And then you just get to know the folks at Third Generation Plumbing and AC by doing that. And you'll say, this is my group. I'm going to keep them on speed dial in case something happens. They'll also be able to tell you if you need a new unit and you're going to get an honest shake. That's the deal. Third Generation. They've been doing this since 1995. Johnny Rodriguez, the owner, his family's been here since the early 1900s. This is a local company that does great work. Look at all the 5-star reviews. Great customer service. That's why we love them. Third Generation Plumbing. .com is the website. You can contact them through there. Back in 3. Hurricane Helene put a hurting on Tampa Bay, and for many of you, the rebuild will be a long process. You must beware of unscrupulous contractors offering up quick fixes for incredible prices. It's a scam. So go with long-standing, reputable companies like Third Generation Plumbing and AC. My friend John Rodriguez has been serving Tampa Bay since 1995 with hundreds of 5-star reviews. If you need a new AC system or any home repairs from Helene, they will work with insurance companies to get you taken care of quickly, expertly installed, of course, and a 1-year maintenance plan and 10-year warranty included on all AC units. 0% financing for 60 months. Contact them at thirdgenerationplumbing.com or 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite. I love it. So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. If you do not have a concierge medical doctor, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're leaving your health decisions to a insurance company that has their profitable interest in mind and not your health. Get somebody to direct your health and health insurance and your health. You can use your insurance and have a concierge doctor that's going to be able to call you in prescriptions in the middle of the night when you need them, so you don't have to go to urgent care. Just did that for me when I had neurovirus a couple weeks ago. So woke up in the morning, just had to run up 5 minutes away, get my script and come on back. By the way, and I should have just had it delivered, by the way, so you don't have to leave the house. How good is that? So and just someone to talk to about supplements, your diet, your sleeping, all those things that Chris Lugo is going to spend lots of time with you. And when you need him, he's going to be there. So having a doctor on call 24/7 is a big deal, especially in this environment that we're in. So I highly recommend it. Find out what it's all about at BAMMC.com. You can schedule free consultation with Dr. Lugo. He can explain the whole program to you, and it's less expensive than you think. But what's worth more? Your health, right? That's what it's all about. BAMMC.com. If you don't have your health, you got nothing, right? That's what I always say.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, breaking news. The Bucs have signed defensive tackle Greg Gaines to a 1-year, $3.5 million deal. Great rotational guy. Made a couple of plays here and there. Not a super big guy, but, runs the defense well. He's just one of those pluggers that you need. Professional dude. You can count on him. Not going to make big mistakes. Good dude. So, again, keeping the band together. Guys that know what they're doing. You don't have to retrain them. Doesn't cost much money. Another good signing by the Bucs. Greg Gaines is back in the fold.
You got to have those guys too.
Yep, absolutely. Other stuff we needed to get to. Leonard Floyd signs with the Falcons. 1 year, I think $10 million. Of course, played with the Rams, was with Raheem Morris when they won the Super Bowl in 2021. He's a Georgia Bulldog, Atlanta native. So it's kind of a coming home for them. So they address edge rusher. He's averaged about 8.5 sacks almost every year he's been in the league. Really consistent guy, good player. That's a good get for them.
And the 49ers are just giving up at this point, right? Are they even going to be able to fill the team next year?
It's weird how they're dumping players, man.
It's bizarre.
And it's a lot. But you know what, though? I guess when you know it's over, it's over. When your window closes, it's pretty much not a bad idea just to start over.
You think some of these guys, though, that they've released could have been traded for something, if you'd have done it at the right time.
Yeah, that's kind
of Starvarius Ward, Leonard Floyd, like people would have traded for these guys.
I would think so.
So I don't know what John Lynch is doing over there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know enough about it, but I would think, yeah, absolutely, they would do that. Tiger tears his Achilles.
Yep,
getting ready for Augusta.
He done.
I really wanted to see him play at Augusta. That's always fun. I mean, he wasn't, he wasn't winning anything, but yeah, I was looking forward to that, and I guess he did that practicing. He started to step up his practice and tore his Achilles.
Yeah, working out.
How do you tear your Achilles? Playing golf,
man. I don't know. You know what? The Achilles is a weird thing, right? I mean, as we're finding out, ask Aaron Rodgers, ask Kirk Cousins, ask Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson tore his twice, like in 3 months. Like in the course of his rehab, he tore it again after it was. So Deshaun Watson has certainly played his last down in Cleveland, maybe in the NFL. But I dated this girl one time who tore both of her Achilles like separately. Like she had surgery while she was working out to rehab the broken one. She ripped the other one. Like she had 2 torn Achilles on each foot, like at the same time. Like that's just disastrous.
That's weird. Yeah. He probably tore it behind a Waffle House.
B.
Wow. You just can't let that go, can you? Nathan says Greg was good to talk to on the 2024 Bucs cruise. He did not attend in 2025. It's because you talked his ear off, Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan.
For God's sakes.
It's your fault. Leave the guy alone.
Gaines Adams did not sign B. May he rest in peace. What's wrong with you?
Wow.
Greg Gaines, solid guy, not exciting depth move. No wonder he didn't go on the cruise. Now you're calling him not exciting?
Jeez. You need those guys too.
Wow. How about winning's exciting? And Sanosa said, need to play much better if they want to make it out of the first round. The Lightning. You ain't lying out of that. No question.
Gloom and doom for the Lightning right now.
Lee also said they'll be lucky to get out of the first round. They have to face either Toronto or Florida, both teams deeper, in my opinion. Carolina going nowhere with that with their Golding situation. You check up was good last night.
Yeah.
I
wouldn't be afraid of Toronto.
No, but like I said, Lee, I mean, I'll take Florida in the first round now because Tkachuk, we don't know when he's coming back. I've heard for the playoffs and I've heard later in the playoffs. And again, how good is he going to be? What's the injury? Will it get re-injured? I got questions, and same with Marchand. So, and now Ekblad's out. So, okay. Listen, let's not get hung up on the last 3 games, since the deadline. They had a phenomenal February. Let's it's ebbs and flows. So let's not get crazy. Lee,
give it a minute.
Give it a second. We talk about the Bolts stinking it up. We just did. Of course, he tweeted that a little bit later. Let's message JP. He says, Rick, Mall Santa may be just effective as Tim, just a little cheaper. Drinking problem, it's a push.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, I'll take Mall Santa applications to replace Tim. So jump in.
Got to wear the hat, though, if you're going to be a Mall Santa on the show.
Yeah. Christopher Cole says he didn't take a 4-year, $88 million contract, so that's where they got the extra $20 million. See, that was what was offered.
Backloaded.
B says David didn't say stadium in Tampa. He just said in general. If you're not careful, JP, Stu will do the St. Pete deal just to spite you. Can I tell you? I woke up in the middle of the night a few weeks ago. I don't remember. Had a dream that happened.
Oh no.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, Stu's doing the deal in St. Pete. He's going to keep the team. I'm like, no. Woke up in a sweat.
That is your worst nightmare, isn't it?
It would be. It would be. I mean, I don't see how it's possible to happen, but it could happen. It's still on the table. That's why I was like, some Saudi sheik came in and flushed him with cash and they did the deal. God, that would be horrible because those Saudis don't care about return on investment.
Nope. They just want to throw money at stuff.
They just want to throw money at stuff.
Look at the cannonball run.
But I don't think, Major League Baseball, though, would have to approve it. And they ain't doing that.
They'll approve money.
No, they ain't. No, they won't do that. They won't. I don't think they do that.
Unless the Saudi just comes in and buys Major League Baseball.
Now we're talking.
That could happen, too, because they don't care. They got the money.
This is an interesting take here. You can't just use the e-board plans. They're 8 years old. It will take 2 years minimum to get new plans approved from city and county. Worst thing you can do is build up expectations of a quick deal. I don't think you're totally off base. I don't think it's going to take 2 years to get permitting. I mean, I think that's a little much. I think, but I'm not saying it's a basis to work from. Populous did a lot of work on that deal. And they had some extensive renderings and engineering that went into it. So I don't see why you can't just dust it off and use part. I think you're ahead of the game, or you're not. You got the land figured out, the design figured out. It fits the footprint. I think there's a lot that's usable there that can speed up the process. I'm not an engineer and I'm not a permitter, but listen, if the county is and the city and the state are invested with these guys, and I think they would be very much so. That can grease this. I don't think the city's not going to be holding up the permits for something that the city is paying for and wants. Yeah. Make sense? I think it does. Christopher Cole says, I think Baker has been added 1 more year to his contract. Oh, good. Because the longer he sticks around, the better, especially at $30 million a year.
Yeah, that's a steal right now for him.
Lightning recalled Cam Atkinson. Looks like Cooch might be out. Yeah, you know what? Might be a nice time for a break for Cooch. That's fine with me. That's good. Anything else in here that we need to hit? Any other stories you want to hit?
No, I don't think so.
Mall Santa?
All the Mall Santas.
Your new name.
I'll take it. By the way, Asian girls rock. I'll say that.
You are ready to end this show and go to lunch with.
I might be calling her as soon as we're done here.
Some you come. Richie P says, I could say as a witness that on this show years ago, when we all tried to figure out who could be the next owner, we all said it would be the Doyle family, Dex Imaging. Facts. You did. We did. Why? Because we follow the money. We follow the money. I mean, yes, he already took a shot at owning the team. And from what I heard, came close, agreed on a price. And guess what? Stu moved the goalpost. Said, no, hey, if you're going to give me 1.8, give me 2. No, 1.8 was the last offer. All right, forget it. James says, this is why I don't believe the Doyle Group, unfortunately, will not win because they don't have the front man. B is close to correct on net worth. He runs a copier company. Didn't we look this up? It's $3 billion.
$3 billion is what the family's worth.
Yeah. So, and by the way, he's not the only billionaire I've heard that's involved with it. So,
yeah,
if this group has the favor of Major League Baseball, as I've been told, then they got money. They got money.
Yeah.
I know the names in the group, and there are billionaires in the group, and so I don't think that's going to be a problem. But I don't know I don't know exactly. I don't have their W-2s in front of me. All right, I think that'll pretty much.
Think we could get those W-2s just to read them on the air?
Be nice.
That'd be depressing.
All right, I think we got all of it. I'm trying to get some of the new people in there. Stephanie.
F-U?
No, that's not for Stephanie. Stephanie Lannis says, JP, is this intended to be in the Ybor City area? That's one of the places they're looking at it, but I've been told that they're not focused on one area. They're looking at all options. So
as they should.
Absolutely. Because different things can, like if they're looking at the fairgrounds, can Seminole Hard Rock be involved? Of course, and that's state land. So there's things they can do there. So again, when you look at all the different people that are around this project and the names that surround it, and as I mentioned earlier, Ron DeSantis is aware of this group. I don't want to say working with the group, but he's aware, he's done due diligence with them, and knowing the names in this group, I would think he would be very supportive of an effort. And that's a difference between work, because Stu never had the favor of the state, that's for sure, because of their politics. They don't mesh. Let's just be honest. So having the governor involved and having the county involved with Ken Hagan in the city, yeah, I think all of that comes together nicely. I really do. All right, that'll do it for us here today. Big thanks to David Samson for joining us on the show today. Thanks to all of you for joining us each and every day. We're really I forgot this.
That's right. I was just going to flash it up there for everybody in case you wanted to make your bets for Johnny's players.
You want to go through this quick?
Yeah, real quick. For John, this is my favorite non-major golf tournament of the year, the Players.
Love it.
Johnny's got 3 winners for you. Tommy Fleetwood at 25-1, Sepp Straka 33-1, Shane Lowry at 40-1, his ham sandwich or the long shot, Denny McCarthy at 80-1. Your 2 top 10s, Corey Connors at plus 475, support the great Canadian. Ben Griffin plus 900. Your 2 top 20s, Adam Scott at plus 350. And Cam, he hates to be called Cameron, so I always put Cameron on the card. Cam Davis at plus 500.
All right. Good stuff. I wish we had Johnny to explain all these things, but
yeah, he's actually in the air. He's on a plane right now.
If you're Canadian and you're at plus 450, is there a 25% tariff on that if you win? I don't know how that works.
You have to convert it to Canadian plus.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate you all. We will be back tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have Scott Hamilton on the show and working on some others as well, including Joe Malloy.
Figure skater.
Joe Malloy, will be joining us, I believe, next week, part of a group. So I made contact with him, but he's very busy. So he said he'll join us the week of the 17th. So I think that's next week. Mm-hmm. So thank you guys for joining us. We will be back tomorrow with more fun and frivolity. Have a great day, everybody.